to thank you for holding this town hall. I'm so glad I wrote down a question. I know you work very hard to represent the people of Georgia and that your faith informs your practice as a senator, and I do thank you for that as a fellow believer. As you know, the Democratic Party, I've heard, is something like a 20% approval rating at the moment. Can you hear me okay? Okay. People like David Hogg have suggested primarying ineffective Democrats in order to get people in office who are better in touch with the needs and voices of voters. In your opinion, what is your vision for the Democratic Party moving forward to gain back trust? And does that vision allow for room at the table for Palestinian voices and leaders like Representative Roman?
Thank you so much. Hi, Representative Rowan. Stand up. You don't have to slink down. We're glad to see you. So let me answer the last part of your question right off the bat. The answer is yes. I am committed to the humanity and the dignity of all people, including our Palestinian sisters and brothers and people who deal with what's going on in that region of the world. I have to tell you, yeah, I'm a Democrat, but this is what happens when you elect a preacher to office. I'm a Democrat. I don't know that I spend that much time worried about the party. I spend my time thinking about the people that we're supposed to represent. I got other folk here. We got the leader of the Democratic Party here. Stand up. That's Charlie Bailey, the new head of the state Democratic Party. I'm going to let Charlie worry about the party. I really am focused on the people because I think that you have to have the people feel that you are walking with them and that you understand the concerns of ordinary people, and that work is not easy. We live in a moment right now where all of our communications even is gerrymandered. And it's not just the congressional districts, but the communication ecosystem is gerrymandered. You wonder why, how is it that we live in parallel universes? And I'll give you this much, part of what we discovered in the last election is they were talking to millions more people than we were. So I'm trying to stay focused on talking to all the people. And we need young voices in that conversation. We have to center the people. And if we center the people, we have a better chance at getting the public policy right. And I hope that you and I can stay in dialogue about this and a whole range of issues. Sometimes we ought to talk less and, spend some time listening. And so I'm listening to you. All right? Thank you. I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd. Don't preach to me and lecture me about merit and a meritocracy while I witness you nominate the most unfit, most unqualified people we've ever seen. You're clearly not serious. You cannot lecture me about merit while nominating Pete Hegseth and Robert Kennedy. Cannot. So, I don't know how anybody could be apathetic after what we're going through right now. We say elections have consequences. That ain't a slogan right about now. We're living that reality. And here I am doing everything I can with the tools I have, but those tools are not the same as they were my first two Congresses. But I'm going to use the tools I have. Just because we're out of power doesn't mean we don't have any power. Don't ever let anybody take your power. I don't want to spend this time talking about my campaigns, but this is illustrative of the point. After I won the first time in Georgia, my political adversaries looked at the anatomy of my victory and they came after it with surgical precision. The runoff is a vestige of the Jim Crow era, but I won in the runoff. And so it was 8 weeks, so the next time we came around, remember they passed SB 202. They cut the amount of runoff in half. And then as we were entering the runoff the last time I ran, they said that, sorry, but you can't vote on the first weekend if that weekend comes after a holiday. And that holiday was Thanksgiving and, wait for it, the birthday of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. And that's how they chose to read the law. And Georgia officials said, you know, I'm sorry, we're not trying to be difficult here. Our hands are tied. You can't vote the weekend, first weekend of the runoff after the holiday. Our hands are tied. So I decided to untie their hands. I sued them. And I won. And then the same folks who said their hands were tied showed their hands because they should have just accepted the fact that the court had just liberated them. That's not what they did. They appealed the decision. And I won. And then they appealed the decision again, asking for emergency relief. And I said to myself, emergency relief from what? From voting? People voting? So I had to win a court decision and 2 appeals just so students coming home for the Thanksgiving break and others could vote the first weekend of the runoff. And I don't remember, my staff gets nervous. I want to make sure. We about 100,000 people, I think, voted that weekend, somewhere in that ballpark. And I won by about that margin, somewhere in that. So what
money, I've asked for accountability from the top of DCA to the bottom. I get no response. These people are being told they have 7 days to get out. And you can't evict someone legally within 7 days, but because they have mental health issues, they don't know any better. And I'm dealing with these people, and my heart is aching and crying for them now. So I'm asking you, what can you do to help these agencies help me help these people? They're coming out of homelessness. And they don't know that they can't be put out. And everybody in here, your dollars pays for this. There is something that we have, community service boards that are supposed to help these people, and they aren't getting help, sir.
Thank you so much. So at the federal level, all the things that I can do, and if there are more, I'm always looking for new things I can do to help poor people. Increasingly, we're seeing working people who are homeless. There are folks who go to work. I mean, they go every day, and they're homeless. Mental health is a big part of this. Won't reduce all of it to that, but that is a big part of it. I've got lots of legislation that I've introduced on mental health. As a member of the Banking and Housing Committee, I'm very focused on housing affordability. Housing in Georgia. Georgia has its records even in the Southeast with respect to home ownership is abysmally low. And homelessness is the extreme expression of that. So I want us to keep talking. I want you to connect with a member of my team because I want to hear the specifics because you are obviously engaged in the work. You're not talking theoretically. You're talking about specific work that you're doing on the ground right now and your frustration with the bureaucracy. I hear you. I hear you. So I want a member of my team to get your information, and I want to see if there are things that I can do. Tyler's standing right behind you. He works for me, and I work for you. So I want you to give him your information. I want to hear specifically about the agencies you're talking about, the folks who are trying to get people help, and anything I can do to strengthen and bolster those efforts. You have my commitment in front of all of these people that I will do it. All right?